Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Comic Source. I'm your host, Jace. Today, we're here to talk about Pizza Witch, which is a title from Skybound's Comet line for young readers. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully, there's more to come. I have the creative team, Sarah Graley and Stef Purenins, joining me today from across the pond, actually, to tell us all about it. So, thanks for taking the time to join me today, you two.
Yeah, after you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so again, thanks for giving me a chance to check it out. Everybody, this is available at your comic shops. You can, let them know. It came out on September 3rd, so you want to pick it up. And again, this is, again, for a little bit of younger readers. And as I often say with some of these comic books from Skybound, if you're interested in getting your younger ones to read, sharing something like Pizza Witch as a bedtime story, or just, getting it for them as a gift and setting them loose is a fantastic way to go. So I'm going to start off with you, Sarah. Give us kind of the synopsis of the story. I mean, it's kind of hard to sum it up quickly because you built such a rich world, but how would you describe Pizza Witch to somebody who is picking it up for the first time?
It's funny that you directed this question to me because actually I'm very bad at giving synopsises and I always ask Stef to give them instead.
Yeah, but then I always then pass it back to you because I think it's a good thing to be able to talk about your work. So this is up to you. No, please describe it. It's so much more fun when you describe it.
And this is what happens if you ask what the book is about in person. We a little like, oh no. Pizza Witch is about Roxy. She is a witch that specializes in pizza magic, but people just don't take pizza magic very seriously. That doesn't stop her though. She's super into it. She's super passionate about it. It's about like kind of following your dreams even when everyone's kind of snooty about them. There is her cat familiar George, who is a bit grumpy. But I feel like he keeps, he's like he's the voice of reason, right?
Yeah.
He's the small, fluffy voice of reason. And we just filled it with, all of our favourite things. There's lots of skeletons in there. There's lots of cats. There's soup. There's other themed magic.
It's a big adventure filled with, it's filled with it's following your dream and going on a big adventure, and we wanted to make a really big, interesting, magical story, and
I think this is it.
Yeah. This is what ended up happening.
Well, I thought that was great, Sarah. That was
Thank
you nailed it. You nailed it. One of the things that really strikes me about it, and a reason that I would recommend it for younger readers and to get kids interested in not just reading, but reading comics, because the visuals are amazing as well, is there's such a sense of fun and hopefulness. So let's throw it over to you, Steph. Give us a little bit of the kind of the impetus, where you two came up with this idea, and were you conscious of just how much fun it would be while, as you mentioned, telling that story of following your dreams?
Yeah, so I think we've both kind of had a thing where we've kind of started off when we were younger, both being really into creative things, and then you kind of sort of find down the line that not everyone might share that same kind of passion for the stuff you want to get into. You might hear the words pipe dream, and it's just a bit of a hobby. You have to figure out what you seriously want to do and all that kind of stuff. So I think we both got a lot of stuff in our past where to draw from, in terms of sometimes you just have to be really weird and stubborn and keep doing and kind of keep working at the things you want to do, because there's every chance that stuff can kind of pan out, and that's kind of what we wanted to put into this story. So I think it's just kind of a thing of, especially with where the story goes, when we were starting to plan out what was going to happen in this book, I think we wanted it to be a case where it was a book that went loads of different places. I think sometimes with a graphic novel, because it's a more kind of visual storytelling thing, you can kind of get stuck in spending a lot of time in one location or something. So we wanted to make something that felt really fast paced and went loads of different places, and we wanted something that kind of felt just really grabbing the reader along and taking them on a journey and going to really weird places and meeting weird characters and hopefully learning something at the end of the day. But yeah, we just wanted something that was just a really fun, interesting journey, and I think we managed it. I think.
Oh yeah, it's loads of fun, and the visuals are great too. It's so brightly colored, and I love George the Familiar because he's kind of the grounded one. It's almost like you think of Pinocchio and Jimmy Jiminy Cricket, right?
Oh yeah,
Where
yeah.
Jiminy's kind of the Pinocchio's conscience, and in this one, Roxy is such the titular character of the Pizza Witch. She is such a dreamer, and it's great to see her follow in her dreams. But George does keep her grounded at times and kind of keep her on her path where she needs to go, which is amazing. But getting back to the idea of the visuals and having it so bright and so fun, for you, Sarah, once you started building the story, visually, how quickly did the world design and the character designs come? Was it a back and forth? Was it something that you just kind of nailed in the beginning? Give us a little bit of an idea of building out the story visually.
I feel like maybe the character designs changed a lot, kind of thing. We kind of noodling on those, but I think everything else kind of fell into place. Like, yeah, I think Erin maybe was like the character that we did a lot of back and forth on. But when I'm like designing characters and stuff, I worked digitally and I did the whole book, like on Procreate and Photoshop. But I do a lot of like stuff in my sketchbook. I don't know what it is about like drawing by hand. I feel like it's so much easier to create versus like drawing on a screen. So I've got a couple of sketchbooks just absolutely like full of like Pizza Witch doodles and stuff like that. that helped me. But yeah, I feel like it all kind of clicked into place.
I feel like sort of we'd start getting ideas of like certain characters that were going to be like important in the story, and then I think it's just the case that you would then noodle around with stuff and
lot of noodling.
yeah, and kind of like really sort of figure out. And I think a lot of the time, sometimes having that character design would then kind of almost dictate how the character was written in a way. Because I think as soon as you've got that kind of visual of a character, it starts kind of molding their personality in a way. So then when we would keep going back and like rewriting dialogue and script and stuff. And even when I was like doing the lettering and like doing final passes, there'd be like little tweaks to stuff here and there, because like the more of the character that starts to come through, the more of the idea of you get like who they actually are a little bit more. And
yeah,
I think that kind of comes from the design a lot.
Was there like a version of Jeremy without a big hat? I feel like maybe
Jeremy
he was hatless at one point.
I think Jeremy was always big and showy. So Jeremy is the pizza warlock, the kind of the not great boss that Roxy works for at the start and kind of throughout the book. And I think the idea for him was like, I think the one thing that changed with him is like I campaigned really hard for his cloak to be gold, because I was like, he seems like such a showman. I feel like he would want to be the brightest, most kind of out there character, like, and he's very he's very much mostly bark, not so much bite, and I think that's kind of a way of having us show that. So I campaigned quite strongly for the big gold cloak light, and the big hat I think was there from the start. I think that's an important pizza warlock fact.
Yeah, and it was great to see Jeremy, and there's another character that we won't necessarily spoil what happens because we want you to check it out for yourself. But they sort of been born with a silver spoon in their mouth, so to speak. They don't have to work so hard, as opposed to Roxy, who's working real hard to fulfill her dreams. And that was sort of interesting and topical. And it's another one of the things I love about these type of books for younger readers, because that can start, conversations with younger people who don't necessarily have the life experience. So I like that there's a little bit of a lesson, disguised in there as well, which was really fun. But again, I think that you two are probably building this out, from the perspective of, we want this to be a fun story and what have you, as opposed to, we're trying to teach somebody a lesson. So I wonder about kind of pacing, because that's the other thing that is that can be tough. And, there's an open-ended ending to this that leaves it open for more, which I got to the end and I was like, oh, I want the next adventure. It was so great. But in terms of planning that out, pacing, how does that work with you two? Because obviously visually you have to pace it out as well. Do you guys just work from an outline first? Do you write a full script? Like talk us through getting that pacing right and knowing what you're going to have room for in the book and what's going to end up having to be cut for space reasons.
I think with Pizza Witch, because this is kind of like a unique one for us, that we've got the whole book out now, but it is also uploading as a webcomic, like a weekly webcomic. So I think when writing that, we were thinking of how the book would be in webcomic chunks, and we'd want to make sure that something really exciting was happening every 6 or 7 pages, at least. Like, we want exciting things every page, but like, it was kind of, I feel like it was kind of the story. We chunked it out in those kind of like those blocks a little bit. But I feel like at the start of Pizza Witch, we just kind of wrote like a really huge like breakdown of what happens in the book and like the bullet points and stuff like that. It was very kind of figured out, but then you flesh out each bullet point kind of thing as you go.
Yeah, we definitely had a point where I think we kind of realized that we wanted each update in terms of it being a webcomic. We were kind of thinking it both in terms of like page turns in a graphic novel and in terms of like how many pages we could get kind of in an update without it being sort of too much or too little at once. I think we settled on around sort of 6 to 8 pages would make kind of a webcomic update for this. Kind of based on like we read like a lot of sort of like Japanese manga and stuff like that. When it comes out in chapters, that's kind of like maybe more so towards like 10, 11 pages and stuff like that. But we kind of sort of, I think we ended up with like this really huge like Word document that was like, I think it ended up being like 33 or 34 chapters or something. Wow. And it was kind of like trying to make sure that every single chapter would end with something really, like end with something that would really lead really nicely into the next one. And I think it's the first time we've ever tried to pace something in that way. Like we've normally kind of just, I think with previous graphic novels, it's kind of been a case of like, you know, it's 200 pages and it's, you know, we'll know like certain story beats that we want to get to, and then it will happen a lot more, maybe like less quick paced. But I think with this, we were like, we want to make something that's just as full to the brim with as much as possible. I think we were kind of inspired by like a lot of the time you'll see an animated film and it'll kind of hit like, it'll go a lot of different places within the runtime. And I think we were trying to think of like, how many different places can we go on this kind of quest and this story, and then the whole kind of webcomic-y kind of pacing kind of, I mean, like our kind of our history is in webcomics. That's where we kind of got started with all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like pulled all of that stuff in together to kind of make the most kind of focused webcomic-y version of a story that we could put out. And I think it works. I think I'm really happy with how many different things that we got going on in there. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Roxy, she definitely goes on a journey. She meets all kinds of interesting characters on the way. You know, from crystal dragons to talking cats. It's a whole heck of a lot of fun. Which, you know, this is nearly 300 pages, everybody. So you're getting a big chunk of story. And even with that, like I said, when I got to the end, I wanted more with the kind of the way it ends and leaves it open for more to come. But in terms of, let's go back to the visuals for a second, Sarah. You know, sort of easy in a way to design, you know, Roxy and Aaron and Jeremy and Roxy's parents or what have you, because they're humans, you know, and so you have, you know, the visual cues to work on. But when we start talking about the adventure she goes on, there's everything from those talking cats that I mentioned to the crystal dragons to, you know, magical garlic and ghouls and what have you. So in terms of those sorts of designs, how much fun is it to do that? Because the sky's the limit, right? Only your imagination. How much fun is it to do that? And are those easier for you than doing the actual character designs, or is it a little tougher to kind of nail the look of those more abstract ideas?
Well, I think so. We had like a volcano full of skeletons. I feel like I draw all of my skeletons the exact same, but there's like what is he, Chef Boss skeleton?
Yeah.
And he just like, I mean, he's just got an apron and a big hat. A lot of my character designs are big hats, apparently. I had a lot of fun with the ghoul. With the crystal dragon, I think we did like a color change, like right at the very end.
Oh,
like,
I was like, we got to make it more crystal-y.
Yeah, like originally it was rock colored. I don't know why, looking back on it now.
It was rock coloured with little crystals coming out of him, and I was like, he's Crystal Dragon. We can make this guy all crystal. And I think that was kind of like a big last minute driving force. It was like, we got to make this guy more crystal.
Yeah, like it was very much like I'd done a pass that I thought was the final one, and then stuff was like, what if we changed the colour of the lines?
I'm the worst. I love tweaking stuff, and it's like sometimes it's like something that won't become obvious until like the book's almost done, and then it's like, wait, why isn't this guy way more crystally? And it's a whole thing.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of the work I work on is like quite cute and stuff, but I really love drawing ghouls. I really love horror stuff. So coming up with monsters and stuff is so much fun. So I had a lot of fun with the ghoul and the skeletons and the crystal dragon. I'm trying to think if we have. I mean, I don't want to spoil any other big bads.
Yeah. There's plenty of threats, I guess.
And I guess they are all kind of a little bit cute anyway, but I had so much fun working on those. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even the people that tend to have a magic affect them in a negative way, again, and I really appreciated that for the younger readers. We're told they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. I'm specifically thinking about the contest, which I appreciated. I appreciated that. That was a lot of fun. The other aspect of the story, there is a little bit of a romance here as well, almost a star-crossed romance in a way, which again I appreciated. And let me ask this in a little bit of a different way. And this is always everybody dictated by sales. Hopefully this is going to do well and we're going to get a sequel. But hopefully we get to explore that romance a little bit more and see how things might actually turn out if you guys get a chance to do more.
We've got like a lot of ideas for where we want the story to go, and I think like this, we totally like wrote. This whole story has been written with like more like to come. So hopefully all the stars will align and we can kind of continue that storyline. But we definitely that's it's a very part one romance. Let's say.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. I'm trying to think how to talk about it. But I feel like this year, we've been like, how can we torture our characters? We're like, I don't know if we want it to be smooth. I think we want that journey to be.
Okay, yeah, like I was. So we were like, when we started like writing Pizza Witch, I think we came to it from kind of an. I think when we've written books before, we've put characters into peril, but it's been kind of like it's not been peril that has been that bad, let's say. And then just from kind of like watching stuff and reading stuff, we were like, people like sometimes you've got to take your characters on a more emotional journey. We will be a little bit meaner with our writing because I think maybe we've been like a little like too nice in the past.
Too nice to our characters. So we torture them.
We did want to sort of be a little bit meaner, but I feel like it's a meanness that will come with like much more. Like it will be a meanness that pays off. I think that like like things have to get darker before they can get light again, that kind of thing.
There's gonna be growth. There's gonna be
maybe there will be growth. Like no spoilers. Maybe there'll be growth. Maybe there'll be light again. But we wanted to take our characters on a journey, and as spoiler free as I can say, I think we've taken them on a journey, and we're excited about where we can take them next.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it helps to flesh out Roxy and give us a better understanding, because she does face so many obstacles, and for the most part, she keeps her positive attitude and she keeps moving forward. And in those moments where maybe she does have a little doubt, she's got George there kind of prodding her on, where usually it's the other way around. She's kind of dragging George along, and he's trying to be the voice of reason, and she's like, no, we can do this. It's great. So I love that back and forth. I love the relationship between George and Roxy, and again, everybody, George is her cat familiar. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see the cuteness of George on the broom there, which again was just amazing. So I know the book's only been out for a little while. Again, it came out on September 3rd, everybody, but we had the web comics before. So let's kind of as we wind down here, let's talk a little bit about the reception of the story from what you two have had a chance to hear. The readers really seem to be responding to it from what you've seen.
Yeah, it's been really good so far. We just did a signing tour across. There's a chain of comic stores in the UK called Traveling Man, and we did like 4 different shops in the same weekend. And yeah, we just had like really nice things so far. People have been following it online, and people who wanted to pick up the book. We had some people who were like refusing to read it online because they wanted to read the whole thing in book form. And everything we've been reading online so far has been really good. That's been a really cool thing about doing it as a webcomic first. We were able to sort of like see what people are talking about after each chapter updates, and sometimes it's just like, it's nice seeing when sometimes people will take what we want them to be taken from it, but then sometimes people are like taking like completely different things. It's like it's fun to see how people like kind of absorb the story in a way, I guess. But yeah, it's been really cool so far.
Yeah, it's been really nice doing it as a webcomic alongside as well. I feel like because we've got it on pizzawitch.pizza if you want to read along, or just read ahead, get the book. But we've got it on Webtoon as well, and I feel like you post it and I wait an hour and then I'm like, time to read the Webtoon comments. And I feel like everyone really connected to Soup Witch in a way that I wasn't ready for.
Okay, like we literally had someone comment saying, "Oh, you should just do a spin-off for Soup Witch, like Soup Witch just giving advice or something." And we were like, Soup Witch to us was like a great character. We were not thinking anything sort of past the amount she's had in the story so far, but by the sounds of it, we're gonna have to like bring her back in some capacity in the future, because apparently the people were excited for Soup Witch.
Hungry for Soup Witch. Forget Pizza Witch.
Yeah, Pizza Witch. Who's Roxy? Forget her. Soup Witch. That's what we want. We're in an age of soups now.
I mean, again, this is an adventure story, and we think back to kind of like those, animated stories from when we were a kid. Amblin Entertainment did a lot of them, or whatever, where these young people would go on a journey. And when the going got tough, there was always that sort of wise old character that showed up to kind of prod them along, and Soup Witch is a little bit of that here. But yeah, I'm all for more Soup Witch, because here's the thing: so many different stories you can tell by her working on different kinds of soups. I mean, how many different soups are there? You know what I mean? You can kind of tie it into, oh, I'm making a tomato bisque, so this is the adventure that goes with that. Or I'm making chicken noodle, would be something totally different. So that would
in
be...
In 20 years' time, people will be talking like, oh, I remember the gazpacho arc.
That's right.
And that was,
exactly.
That was a dark time, but we came back.
Exactly.
We're going to talk to Soup Witch.
Yeah, it's all about the Soup Witch. That's awesome. Well... again, thank you so much, you two, for joining me. Best of luck with the print version of the book. Last thing as we're closing down here, you mentioned the website, sir, where people can go and read it. But I kind of ascribe to, getting that physical copy and have it in your hands. But I do want to give you both a chance for people to know where they can follow your work online. So if you're active somewhere, or where the best place to go and look at your work, Pizza Witch and otherwise, where's the best place for people to go?
For Pizza Witch, all things Pizza Witch, we've got pizzawitch.pizza is the website that kind of links to all the different places as well. And then Sarah's Instagram is probably the next best place, so that's just Sarah Graley on Instagram. And yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, we like read Pizza Witch online if you like, but we like the book is absolutely beautiful. Like, I don't know how well that catches on camera, but it's got this kind of like really nice rainbow hollow finish that we didn't even know was like a thing that was possible. And then when we first saw a copy of the book, we were like, we fell out of our chairs with how lovely it looks. So we're really pleased with how this came out as a book. So we think everyone should get a nice, chunky, heavy copy of the book, 300 pages. Throw it at your enemies, whatever.
Yeah, again, I can't recommend it enough, especially for younger readers that you're trying to get interested in reading and checking out. Because, again, great bedtime story. It has those big chunks of chapters, and it was just amazing. So, again, you two, thank you so much for joining me today. It was really fun chatting.
Well, thank you for having us. It was great.
Thanks.
And everybody out there in the audience, whether you're listening audio only or checking us out on YouTube, we really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time.